that has like maybe um parents and kids, and kids that attend maybe preschool. For families like that, if it's winter, it's likely that they'll be using more power in the nights and in the mornings. If you take into consideration that their parents are people who work from, they don't work from home, they work from their office sites. That means that during the day there'll be less like there'll be less energy that is needed. So if you have machine learning algorithms like that, I mean, they're using machine learning algorithms like that, obviously. So then you're able to track, okay, during this time, this house probably doesn't need so much energy as compared to maybe a staying mom or a dad that works from home and they homeschool their kids and they are there during the day. The energy consumption rates will differ. So yeah. Now I'll talk about the algorithms that are used in smart cities. I did that briefly. I'll talk about it into detail now. So I explained that the machine learning algorithms that can be used in traffic prediction is mostly CNNs. There are other ones that are used, but CNNs can't be used. So CNNs and like their convolutional neural networks. So they mimic how the brain works and in terms of like the patterns. So it tries to, it's a bit like what I spoke about previously in terms of how smart bricks work. That's a bit of CNN. So it just tries to track like how the, so for example, traffic may be hectic during during rush hours and during maybe rush hours will be morning for work and then getting back from home. So then TNNs can will be able to know that okay, if it's real time, it can because you have cameras and sensors, it can track that okay during this time there's a maximum flow of cars, and during these periods there's a minimum flow of cars. With this type of information you can actually design your CNN model to help with traffic flow. So you can have like optimization there as well. To You can have optimization, you can have okay decision decision trees to in there to help with scheduling of traffic. So then with this, it can, for example, like you have Google Maps, it shows you where traffic is the most at a particular time. So yeah, so things like that. So it will signal you and it will give you alternative routes as to how to make your life easier or how to get to your destination faster. For energy trading and optimization, as I spoke about previously, you could also have reinforcement learning to help you with your energy trading. Now they are also trying to like um it feels like if you don't need the energy in your house, you can trade it off to another house. I don't know how they are doing that, but I know that the algorithms that can be used there is reinforcement learning. Another thing is resource management. So yeah, another thing is resource management. Over here too, it's a lot of machine learning models. So apart from, let's see, okay, resource management is also machine learning models. So if in essence it works a bit like IoTs, like trying to figure out what resources a house needs and trying to give it to them. So like it has an integration of like IoTs and AIs. Now, the skills that I would say is necessary for solving issues in the AI field are collaboration skills. In AI, it's great if you can work on your own, but it's even greater if you can collaborate with others. I'm saying this because, for example, I'm working on autonomous cars. My background is in process engineering, it's not in electronics or electricals. But I need sensors and I need actuators and I need like multimodal sensors and all that. But so it's great if I can collaborate with like electrical engineers, and then I could also, yeah, I could collaborate with electrical engineers. So that's why I put it on top of the list, because collaboration skills is really key. And collaboration is just not about telling someone what you think will be best for the project. It's sort of, yeah, unless of course you are championing the project, but then it's a two-way thing. You should be able to share and you should be able to listen to them as well. Another thing is programming and coding skills. Even though the machines or your computer does most of the work in terms of like calculations, because in CNNs, if you look at it, the weights and the connecting layers and the pulling layers are is so many calculations, but then you don't need to know those. I mean, you don't need to calculate those things. The computers already do it for you, but you're supposed to understand the principles behind how to work. So since the machines are doing the work, you should be able to know how to tell the machines to do the work. And you can know how to tell the machines to do the work through programming and coding. Some of the coding languages I'll recommend is Python, and some people like to program in R. I don't know how great Java is for this, but sure. And sometimes a bit of C, because there's Julia programming, and Julia is it's a bit of C. So if you know C as well, is good. But I would say R. I mean, why did I keep on saying R? I'll say that Python is just great. Now, data analysis, you should be able to understand. If you get data, you should be able to make sense out of data, and you should be able to know what you want to do with the data. So because through that you're able to solve issues. If you just like have data but the data means nothing to you, it doesn't really enhance the problem solving skills. So you should be able to have you should develop the skill of like data analysis and lifelong learning. I would always say that things are fast changing, especially in AI. It's a new field. It's so fast growing. Initially, I wanted to use YOLO, and then I realized that YOLO has like YOLO has different versions, obviously, but it looks like almost every year a new YOLO version is released. As I speak to you, there was YOLO version 8. When I checked last 2 months, I don't even know whether there's a new one, but you should like be abreast with the happenings in your field, and you should be. I mean, when it comes to AI, you should be excited because um even though it's being used to make life easier, because AI is also because society is also moving to a world of eco friendliness. AI has a part to play, and it feels like AI is moving there as well. So as society changes, the applications of AI in fields also change. Another thing I would say is critical thinking skills. If you have you should be able to think deeply into a problem, and you should be able to analyze it, and also you may not have a solution then, but you should be able to properly formulate the question in your head, because when you are solving the problem, you need to be able to. I mean, you can't figure it all out, but then you should be able to solve it as best as you can, because AI are real life and the applications in AI are real life. So then a mistake is not just a mistake. A mistake can be very critical in someone's life. Like a mistake can go a long way to harm society. That's about it. And you should have good communication skills, because you need to always communicate your results, and you need to, I mean, clearly communicate like your problem to someone if you need them to fund your project or anything of the sort. So thank you very much for your kind attention. And this is the end of my presentation. I try to keep it as brief as possible so that we can spend the next few minutes um, answering questions and interacting. Thank you. I'll
Okay.
hand over to you, Tina.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we do have collected some questions, and so let's get back to my screen.
Right. Okay. I'll stop
Okay.
sharing. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Cancel. All right.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, I
Thank you.
think you're giving us a very clear overview about the trends and examples of AI applications in smart cities. You also mentioned some optimization techniques and
Right.
reinforcement learning that have been used in this area. And you also mentioned deep learning are commonly used.
Right.
So speaking to deep learning, you said about you use R and you also use TensorFlow. And what kind of particular algorithm that you think is very important? In our field, we use a lot of RNN, um, which is the recurrent
Yeah.
network. And because a lot of data in our field is time series data,
Right.
so that means you have to keep the relation between different timestamps and try to catch the trend of the system's model. So I wonder, do you have some similar research experience in this particular area?
Well, for
Mm,
because my data, I
mm.
understand R, but because my data is so huge, I use CNNs because
Yeah.
yes, the results at the end of the day are more accurate than when I use RNNs because I have like 20,000 images that I'm
Yeah.
working on. So I would rather go with CNN. So when it comes to deep learning, even when it comes to machine learning and deep learning in general, I'll say that the type of algorithms you use depends on your data sets because sometimes someone would say that, oh, I want to go with deep learning. But
Mm,
sometimes if your data set is not so big, it's really best to like stick to machine learning models. So it's hard for me to say that maybe this is the best deep learning or that is
mm,
the
mm,
best deep learning model. I think it depends on your data sets, the
exactly.
size. It depends on what you are after. Because I also had a friend that was working on sound, but he wasn't using like sound processing algorithms. He wanted to work on CNN. So he is converting his sounds into images to work with. So it will depend on your end goal as well.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
I also see a lot of combination of different models. For example, like
exactly.
CNN, as you said, plus LSTM, which is a
Right.
very popular
Exactly.
RNN model. Yeah, so like you can utilize different feature and advantage of different model, and then combine them together. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
maybe
And
yeah.
okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And then sometimes maybe you want for me, even though I'm using like CNNs and it's not really going to give me like real time information, but you need real time, you could actually like have other algorithms attached to it to give you what you need. So as he said, like you can use different combinations of models to give you the desired outcome.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
also, not just the model itself, we also found there are a lot of technology you could apply for better data quality, because if the data is garbage in, then will be the result garbage
Exactly.
out. So I think I actually found a lot of articles talking about this, and I say maybe 70 up to 70 or 80% of the time is dealing with the data and collecting the data, pre-processing the data.
That's right.
Because in our field, sometimes when we collect the data from, for example, solar power, and we found not many data is complete. Sometimes there were a lot of communication interruption, so the data is missing, or the data is just not there because they recently installed it, so there's no enough historical data. So to deal with this problem, we have to do a lot of feature engineering. Like for example, you can pre-process the data, you
Right. You
can
also
imputate the data first,
uh,
and then you have to remove a lot of abnormal data, things like that. I believe you also have a lot of experience in this
yes,
research.
I also
Yeah.
use like I also pre-process my data as well, like data for data cleaning and things like that. So it's still about the same thing. I also think that it's also because the RNNs and CNNs and those technologies all fall under deep learning.
Yeah.
So the steps are very similar, but deep learning structures differs in terms of yes. So deep learning models differs in terms of their structure. That's another thing. So the steps are about the same, but when it comes to their structure, it differs. So for example, CNNs are a bit more complex in terms of their structure. Like they contain like max pooling, interconnected layers as compared to ANNs. So as for I hope you get what I'm saying. So like the models, yeah, so they're not too different. Like
Yeah.
the steps are not too different, but the structures differ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on the discussion
Right.
session. There are already some questions being collected, and so who have the first question? Does anyone has the first question?
Oh, me.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
So my question is, what are the privacy concerns associated with AI-powered surveillance system in smart cities?
Well, one of
That's a
you're right.
very good question. Yeah, I also want to know what do you think?
Honestly, one of the biggest issues with AI privacy is people breaching data breaches and hacks of AI. That's one of like the biggest issues because the power surveillance is like real time tracking of a person. It's like CCTV. It's like it's real time. So it was currently happening. What has happened in the past? So if you can imagine if someone gets hold of that data from someone, like I don't want to say your life is over, but then there's so much they can do to you. So one of the biggest privacy concerns with AI power surveillance responsibilities that I'll say is breach of privacy. So that will be like a breach of GDPR rules. And as to what AI engineers are doing about it, I for AI breaches is I mean everyone knows they're supposed to go by the rules, but sometimes certain things are tricky in the sense that sometimes when you go to a certain website or something they'll say that accept cookies and things like that.
Hmm.
Sometimes if you don't sometimes the things I don't know whether you always go through the list, but sometimes the list contains things that you wouldn't want. Like how would I explain it? I don't want to say it's a low key breach, but then it's like low key saying that yeah, okay for them to share your information. So sometimes when it comes to like privacy issues, I'd say that like you need to be very careful because even though people can breach it and share your information, sometimes certain things that you allow also is like and it's also like an indirect way of it's okay for you to share my information.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think surveillance system has
Yes, but
its
yeah,
usage, but also have the privacy issue that we need to set up the boundary.
yes, you need to set up
Yeah.
the boundary, but they do. But what I'm saying is, you can't control a hack.
Mm.
Like if someone hacks their system, like you can't control someone hacking your system. So for hacks and breaches, and when it comes to breaches, I'm sure you've heard so much, like you've heard so much that people have breached and shared information and things like that. It's, I mean, it's a human thing. Someone can just break the rule. So when it comes to the privacy concerns, I'll say that it's breaches. As to what AI is doing, I think AI and ethics is the best are the best people that to answer that as to what they are doing to like protect us. That's what I
Yeah,
can.
I agree. I think that links to the fourth question: what are the ethical considerations when using AI in smart cities? Because when we're doing a lot of
Mhm.
application, we will use cameras to do the image recognition, and we collect a lot of data to be the fundamental database. But this might include a lot of privacy, and maybe also maybe some trade secrets, probably, and also, like you said, maybe this will become like a backdoor for some hacking threats. They could use, the Internet of Things to take control, and then if it's not used properly, it will become a disaster.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
if it's not used properly, it could cause
Mm.
discrimination. It could cause theft. So many things. Like, for me, I think discrimination is one of the biggest issues as well. We may not see it, but then it affects technology as it comes, because if if someone is already discriminating, the person is biased,
Mm.
and people
And
can, sorry.
yeah, in your opinion, do you think GDPR currently already define the AI power systems privacy issues? Do they cover that?
Well, at the moment,
Mm.
I know the GDPR has like very strict laws, but as to their their laws with AI powered surveillance in particular, I can't tell, but I know they have very strict laws surrounding data privacy and data breaches. Because I don't know, there was this new I think it was Google Bard. When it was even released, it wasn't available in Europe
Mm.
because it was still under review by EU. So I do know that the EU tries their best to prevent like data breaches and protect people's privacy.
Yeah,
But as I said, like you can't, it's hard for when someone hacks a system, that becomes the hard bit of it, hard part. So for hacks and also like you can have the laws, but if someone decides to break it for their own interest, that's also hard.
mm, exactly.
Yeah. So I'd say that the EU is doing their best to protect people, but the issues can be someone can breach it. But the
Mm,
EU is actually trying their best. And the laws surrounding that are well laid out concerning breaches and harassment and all that. Yeah.
exactly. I think what you mentioned is maybe we should more focus on the data security side of it, uh, together with other protection, and so we can make sure that our privacy will be ensured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Okay.
sorry,
Mm,
so when you also look at question for the ethical
mm,
considerations, I'd say that different apart from data privacy and breaches, I'd say that different technologies also attract different ethical concerns. I can speak to autonomous vehicles because I've worked in the field for some time. And with autonomous vehicles, when you talk about it, the first thing that ethics will come after you is like they'll say that how safe is the car? Like, are you sure it won't kill people on the road? So different technologies have like different ethical things people are concerned about. Because
mm,
how safe is the car? Um how is it okay to drive it in busy areas? Those are the things that people will look like How safe is your safe? Even is your safe is going to hit people, it's going to kill two people every million kilometer, or how safe is even the safe? Yeah.
Yes. I believe maybe there are organization like some NGO, maybe they're working on the ethical issue of AI. Because like ChatGPT also caused a lot of problems. And do you use ChatGPT
Yes, I
yourself?
do. Yes, I do. But oh, it's not only ChatGPT. There's U.com too. But what I would say is the ethics part is there's AI ethics. That's what their work is about. It's like how is to protect the people, not to protect them against AI, but it's to make sure they are protected when AI technologies are being made. But the thing about AI is, which I'm sure we all know, is AI gets better with time. I hate to say
Mm,
this, but it's like wine. Like it needs to for AI, it's not it needs to make the mistakes to get not mistakes, but you need to allow it to work to correct your mistakes.
mm. Oh yeah. So in this process, maybe there will be a bit time. It's like a transitional time. They
Exactly.
keep learning, yeah, and then we are also developing some rules and policy to set the boundary and and the data security issue to be solved. So in the future, I believe I still have very positive um, expectation towards AI because yeah, we all needed its help, but and what we also need to do is to find a balance,
Right. I also
yeah, and make sure that people are protected.
exactly. Exactly. I totally agree with that. Because AI is great, but I think it's how we use it that may harm us at the end of the day. But even with yes, and for some policies also need to change, because I know there are like talks about autonomous vehicles. People saying that it's hard for you to like have a fully autonomous car on the road with other conventional cars, because obviously they won't work, they are not working in on the same technology in principle, so it's hard to have both on the road. But I mean, those are just talks going around. But I am hopeful that some policies will be changed, because at the moment even the autonomous cars on the road are not like 100% autonomous. They are about level 4 and level 3. They are not like fully autonomous. So with fully autonomous, with no driver at the back seat and just passengers, like some policies will need to be changed, because it's just not the same.
Yes. Okay, let's move on to the second questions. Who have the second question?
Still me.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Lumas.
it's okay. So my question is, what are the future trends and advancements expected in AI application for smart cities?
Okay. So thank you for your question, by the way. So some of the advancements, if you notice, there's a lot of autonomy that's coming up. But even with the autonomy, a lot of people are moving to eco-friendliness. So in terms of autonomy, we can speak about Industry 4.0, where they are trying to have manufacturing plants operate on their own. And we also have autonomous cars, and we also have like different technologies that are proving so much autonomy. But because human because humans are moving to a place of greenhouse less greenhouse emissions and like eco-friendly environment, the technology is AI technologies are moving there. So if we talk about AI technologies moving there, you can talk about the fact that they are trying to like have sustainable agriculture. They have also things like they have what's it called, supercomputing systems for reducing like they have something called the Green AI Cloud. So it's like a supercomputing system that helps the helps industries to reduce their greenhouse emissions and technologies like that. So I'll say that even though it's moving to autonomy, the trend is also moving towards an eco-friendly environment in essence. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Okay. Who has the next question?
Me,
Okay, thank you.
teacher, my question is, how does AI contribute to creating sustainable and eco-friendly urban environments?
Okay, I think it's this is not too different from what I just said about the greenhouse thing. So I remember I spoke about Sweden also trying to come up with traffic regulations. Sorry, traffic scheduling to help cars ride faster. To help you get to your destination faster and yeah, get you to your destination faster in essence. So then in terms of this, you can see that they are trying to also help you to spend less time of the road, so which is less energy consumption if you look at it. And also in terms of like urban plan, they're also trying to use it in terms of like urban planning, like um and also transportation mostly. So I'd say that there's more work in AI. That's AI is being at the moment. Sorry, how does AI? Sorry, it's how does AI contribute to creating sustainable and eco-friendly environment? So I'll say that at the moment, AI's contributions to eco-friendly environment is more on transportation. Like the focus is more on transportation. So it's helping with you getting to your destination faster. It's also on agriculture as well, as I previously mentioned. So it's also trying to come up with a green AI cloud as well. So yeah, that's where it is at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's move to the fifth question. Who has the fifth question?
Me,
Okay,
and
thank you so much.
the question is, how does AI enhance public safety and security in smart cities?
Okay. How does AI enhance public safety and security? I think the real time surveillance is one, even though it sounds like it could it it has the chances of being breached or it can go wrong at the moment. It hasn't gone wrong. So I would say that the AI surveillance in public places is one because since it's real time, if something happens, you're easily able to track and know that okay, um maybe this person was attacked by person A or person B or person D. Resource optimization. Okay. How does AI enhance public safety and security? So I'll talk about surveillance. I'll also talk about predictive analytics, where I don't know whether it's currently being used, but what I can say is if 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 AI surveillance is being used, that means it's saving the data. And if it's saving the data, that means we'll have historic data and we'll have new data every time. And that's great news for an AI engineer because so much data means there's so many things that you can do with it. So if there's so many things, one of the things is you can have like predictive analytics and you can predict where like places that can be prone to like security hazards, and you can be more proactive and prevent the incidents rather than having to let them happen for you to do something about it. Um, in terms of safety, I'll also talk about. I'm a bit biased towards autonomous vehicles because I've been researching into it for about 2 years. So I would say that in terms of public safety as well, autonomous vehicles is doing a great job. It may not sound like it because at the moment we all know that the autonomous vehicle was involved in an accident that killed someone, but the ratio of the rate of accidents in conventional cars to autonomous vehicles is more than double the rate, because the rate of accidents in autonomous cars is 4.1 is to per million miles, and that's for conventional cars is 9.1 miles. Yeah, and that's for autonomous for sorry for conventional cars is 9.1 miles. So obviously you can see that the rates in conventional cars, rates of accidents in conventional cars is higher than rates in autonomous cars. So with that, I'll say that even safety on your roads, autonomous cars are doing a better job. And that's the main reason why they were even created in the first place. Also, there's a lot of work that is being done in the health sectors with AI. Like they have I can speak about cancer because recently there was a lady that was working on that. They even have technologies that are trying to like predict some. It's a sad thing, but then yes, with your data, they can predict whether you can die from cancer and at what age and at what time, and it's more accurate than models that are being used. And even so, since it can obviously predict when you're going to die, it's also trying to like help them find trends in people that like find trends. So it's sort of like trying to say that these people types of people are more prone to getting the disease, and things they can do to things they can do to um prevent, not would I say prevent, or maybe more like not prevent things, but things they can do to um maybe track the spread of certain diseases, because yeah, track the spread and monitor certain disease as well. And for disaster management, AI is also used for a lot of forecasting, even in the agriculture sector. Like AI can predict whether it's about to rain, it's about to snow, whatever it is. In terms of disaster management too, AI is being used there, so it can detect when a natural disaster is about to occur, so that people can be safer. Yeah, so I think it's doing a great job there as well.
Yeah, and because our this class is about AI applications in power system, I would like to ask the same questions for some of the students here, because we have been talking about a lot of application cases in power system, and could someone share one or two examples that AI could enhance the security and safety of power system, because power system is also one of the major component of smart cities.
Right, right.
So yeah, so I would like to hear some students' opinion. Let me check. Lumas, are you here still?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What is your idea regarding AI enhance public safety and security, especially in the field of power system? What have you learned from this course?
So I think the point is the security of the data. Yeah, because it's important to um, surveillance the data properly, and I
Mm,
think this is the problem that we are facing and we are trying to solve. So
mm.
yeah, so I think the data security is kind of an issue we need to regard. Yes.
Okay. And how about you, Yoju? Because Yoju is there. Yoju is here. Hello. Maybe you lost him. Okay, let me ask someone else. How about Zhiting? Zhiting, are you here? Is Zhiting here? Chen Zhiting. Maybe they lost the connection.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. From my point of view, I think in power system we do have a lot of safety issue that you need to make sure that, for example, like the battery system is very easily to be over temperature, and then once exceeds the safety boundary, the battery will be on fire and it's very dangerous. Maybe you saw a lot of news regarding this aspect, because there are a lot of huge battery container on the high speed road, and they just catch on fire, and it's really difficult to put it down, because once it gets on fire, you just need to let it burn to the last minute, because there are a lot of chemicals that's very, very harmful and very hard to control, and it will cause the firefighters danger as well.
All right.
So yeah, so one of the thing is to how to utilize AI to, because you can put a lot of IoT sensors and try to do a very good monitoring work. So it includes prediction. So once you detect any deterioration or problems of the battery, you need to just alarm people and to notify people, to stay away, or to find people to come here to repair it before it gets really bad. So that is a very important application in our field. And
Right.
also some major equipments like transformers, you also need to make good maintenance of these important equipment, because they're like the connection point of the power system. So once these connection points are broken, then you are not able to transmit the power from generators to the users. So you will have a very, very big and large scale blackout, which will actually infect people's life, and also maybe for some important organizations like hospital or like military field, you also need power to make sure the security of people. So we need to utilize the AI technology to assist personnel to be able to detect the abnormality of the status and situation of the important equipment in power system.
Well, thank you, Tina. I wanted to add that, with when it comes to maintenance, like you have planned maintenance, right? Now with the planned maintenance is, the wears and tears that happen in a place, like with time, that probably every 3 months we need to change this bolt, or every 6 months we need to change the bolt. So even with the planned maintenance, it could be used, like predictive maintenance can be used to make it better, in the sense that how often you can always model like an algorithm for it. So you know how often you change it, and you also have sensors, like even the sensors can even wear out, but then you can track how the wears happen. So even before the wars happen, you've had them changed. You have them changed.
Mm-mm-mm. I see.
So
Oh,
yeah, yes. Because I worked in an industry like a plant for a while, and with plant maintenance, it's just because you know that every 3 months, like this bolt goes off. So then you need to change the bolts. So if every 3 months the bolt wears off, before the 3 months, you need to change the bolt because by the 3 months it would have worn off. So
yes.
yeah, so it makes life easier. So you have everything. So yeah, you can have IoTs and everything that are just interconnected. And when it's when a wear is about to happen, it just sees that, oh, this thing is due for change. That is due for change. This is due for change. And since it's also
Mm.
tracking in real time, it can also tell you this is not ready for change. But then it's not acting like there's a fault in it, because it will just like it will send signals to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Make a
see that.
good track of your maintenance records is important.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Because you, and plus it's even like you don't need to even, you don't get stressed because you already have your record. So even with your record, you can have an AI model for it, like model something in AI for it. I I'm a bit biased towards machine learning, but you can like have a machine learning algorithm for it.
Yeah. The algorithm for predictive maintenance.
Exactly.
Yeah. To ensure the safety of the equipment, which can
Exactly.
also ensure the safety of personnel and
Exactly.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So predictive and planned maintenance.
Yeah.
Because the routine ones too need to be tracked, as well as the ones that may not be routine but one-off issues as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the time limit, I think we're already in the end of the webinar.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
so
okay. I had
much,
a good
Na.
time. I really had a good time. Thanks for having me as well. And
Thank you so much. And so this is the event we will hold every month, and we would like to invite you to be our audience as well if you're willing to come to join us. And we're also keep seeking for suitable speakers and passionate speakers like you. Thank you for supporting us.
it was lovely to be here as well and to talk. I mean, discuss this. I had a good time. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, all the audience. And let's give Na a big pause, plus. Okay. Okay, and I will see you very soon. So thank you. Bye
You're welcome.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.